Hello, my name is Liz and I'm glad you could join me on my evening walk. It is Sunday, June 13th, 2021. So 2021 is about half over. It's June. Can you believe that it's almost half over? Anyway, so after the dramatic 2020 that we had, so I wanted to just document this upcoming year and all the excitement just in some daily videos. And I would love it if you come along. Hopefully you'll find something interesting. Now we start with a bowl. I've already preheated the oven to 350. We get a pound of ground beef. So I actually got this at the farmer's market from a local farmer, shop local. Half cup of chopped onions. It says yellow onion, but I used white. Probably not a big deal. A cup of breadcrumbs. These are Italian flavored breadcrumbs. All right, we've put the beef in the bowl, and then you do the one cup of breadcrumbs, half cup of chopped onions. Then we have the half cup milk. And we added the egg, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and this is the second of 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And then to round out everything, you have some ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, milk, salt, pepper, parsley, garlic powder, and an egg. Now this is the glaze. It's a 4th cup of ketchup. I know, appetizing. 4th cup of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar, and a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Just a quick little peek onto the meatloaf. It smells great. Hi, bud. What are you doing? Hello. Whoa. Well, the meatloaf was wonderful. Well, the meatloaf was actually pretty good. It was a little bit soft, but it was definitely moist, and the glaze was great. But I think that's it for tonight. I'm on the couch with him, the little baby, and just relaxing, watching some TV, and I'm gonna get ready for tomorrow. So I will talk to you later. Bye. Good morning. Ajax, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Kitties are sleeping, or they were. Now they're getting up. Good morning. Good morning. It's 4:30 in the morning. And it's time to get up. It is Monday, June 14th, and it's 5 in the morning. I don't really choose to get up at this time. The cats start getting up around 4:30, demanding food. So I get up. See? You want food? You want food? She wants food here. He wants food there. They're ready. So I was today years old when I realized that the videos and photos that I take on my phone automatically sync up to Google Photos. I knew it happened with the photos, didn't know that it happened with the videos. So I have just logged in at work and work for an office that is updating online language courses. So the courses that we're updating were created 10 to 15 years ago, and they look very dated in terms of the interface on, like the software interface online, any kind of videos or graphics that are used, extremely outdated. So basically, I work with the SMEs to update the content. I myself don't know very many languages. I took 3 years of high school Spanish and that was it. I can read a little bit, but my proficiency is not high whatsoever. So it's crucial that I can work with these SMEs so we can update the courses. But this is the first time in a long time, 10 to 15 years, that a project of this magnitude has been attempted here in the office. So it's a bit of a learning curve because obviously I wasn't here the first time around when this was being done. But it's a lot of, breaking down the different components of the task and figuring out what information do we need. And then I put it on a calendar, assign it to the SMEs, work with the SMEs to make sure they have what they need in order to create content in the way that our design team needs the content to be delivered. So I'm kind of this like middleman, go-between between the design team and the subject matter experts. This summer is going to be super busy, and this is the onset of the summer semester. And we are going from working on 2 courses, Spanish and French, which are the most popular languages, and moving towards languages that do not use the Latin alphabet, such as like Japanese and Russian and Arabic, languages like that. So there's a lot of planning, a lot of moving parts, a lot of execution, and that's what I am doing primarily today. Last night I made a schedule, trying to schedule out my time about what I was going to be doing at certain times. So not only do I have that to do today, but also on my lunch break I have some out-school classes, and I can talk a little bit more about my perceptions and experience with out-school a bit later. But for now, I'm going to get started on work. So I'm out here in my little porch garden. Let's turn around so you can enjoy the porch garden. So I'm out here in my little porch garden, and we watered things earlier. And honestly, I have this little porch. It doesn't have a lot of natural light. I mean, the only natural light we get is here on the windowsill. And then I have some other plants here on this little table and like down on the floor. But last year, so of course 2020 pandemic, trapped inside, everyone was hysterical. I was like, I want a garden. And the people that know me best know that I want a garden. I want at least an acre. Well, maybe not at least an acre. I mean, we actually like tracked that out to see how much an acre actually was in terms of land, and it's quite a lot. So maybe I was just a little bit ambitious. But I want some land so I can put at least a few raised beds. A few raised beds is all I ask. So last year, we were trapped inside, and I went bananas. I went and got seeds and plant starters and put some primarily peppers and tomatoes, because like growing up, my grandfather had a garden, and then my family had a little garden in our yard at one point, and I remember peppers and tomatoes. So I did that, and I had a lot of green stuff, but not a lot of edible stuff. And I think that was a combination of not enough sunlight and also pollinators. I rarely saw any bee or butterfly around here. So nothing really happened. I got some lettuce. I probably should plant some lettuce back here in the shade, but I did get a little bit of lettuce and a few tiny bell peppers. They didn't grow very big. But yeah, so this is going a little bit better this year. I decided to do make herbs my focus, just because they seem a little bit less daunting, and you can pluck them and dry them, and it seems to be easier. So I'm trying that. I do have some peppers and tomatoes though, because I just couldn't resist. I need to get a few tomato like cages or poles or something for them to grow up. But yeah, so I'm hoping that this is more productive than last year, and I really do need to give this space some TLC. Here, let me show you. I mean, because I live in a small apartment here, I mean, obviously storage, I don't know, like cleaning supplies, some old soil, cat carrier, still some old soil. That's actually a yucca plant that I saved from the neighbor's apartment. Now, oh, it's brown. Actually, it's a funny story, is the neighbor across the way apparently moved out, and I didn't ever see him moving out, but I would leave my apartment and see that the apartment door was a little bit ajar. And I was just like, oh, I don't know, maybe the person just ran in real quick to get something. But then I saw the door was a little bit ajar and not fully pulled shut for like 2 or 3 days on end, and I started to get concerned. And so one day I just kind of pushed the door open and peeked in and saw that there was nothing in the apartment. Like the lights were on, everything was gone, he had moved out, and the only thing left was this lonely yucca plant sitting in the living room, and it looked really sad. And so I picked it up and brought it across the hall and brought it home and put it out on the porch. So I don't know much about it, but I've been trying to take care of it. So, yucca plant. But continuing my little tour, there's a little table that I rescued from near the trash bin. Just like old stuff. Once again, storage. This needs to go away. Cat litter, like, anyway, definitely needs some TLC. So maybe I'll focus on that this week. Look at this frickin' thing. Chick-fil-A is always like that. And they're always put in the most inopportune places, where if you have a line for the drive-thru, it's going to extend out into the street. What is this car doing? Trying to get in the line? I don't think so. Okay, so I'm in line, and there's only one drive-through line, and a car from another state comes up alongside, which is not a drive-through line, and starts trying to merge into the drive-through line in the middle of the parking lot. No, that's not a street. You can't merge into the Chick-fil-A line. What are you thinking? Anyway. They're coming up to the car to get payment. I love it. The workday never ends. So I logged off my regular job, my career job. I took a little walk around my apartment complex, and now I'm on my second job. I am a part-time tutor. So for a while now, probably about 3 years or so, I have been a tutor for an education company here in the town where I live. And I have decided by the end of this academic year, which is the end of June, that I will no longer be tutoring for them. And it was just not worth it. Like whenever I first started, I was actually like going to people's houses and helping students with like English, language arts, writing, study skills, organization, things like that. That's what my niche was. So I did that. And then whenever COVID hit, everything pivoted to virtual. And so a lot of the students that I had became virtual. But then a lot of the job responsibilities that I had weren't so much helping people with writing and reading. It was more of helping them navigate how to go through their LMS, like Google Classroom, Blackboard, and basically helping them keep a calendar and then keeping on top of them, making sure they were doing their assignments. So it was a lot more organization and tech breakdown, and it was just totally not fulfilling. I very rarely actually got to teach literature or writing, which are the things that I wanted to teach. So, and honestly, the more that I go through working with that tutoring company, basically parents just hire me to be homework police, and it's not satisfying or fulfilling at all. So I am done with that. But I also have a few customers that I have found outside of that job through like word of mouth, and so I am tutoring a few of them virtually and one in person, and I'm actually able to teach writing and literature, which is so much more fulfilling than being homework police. So right now I am just waiting for my tutoring student to come on over Zoom, and we are going to look at one of her pieces of writing that she wrote. I still see you. Yes, it seems like I never leave this chair, but I did leave. Target to get some kitty litter and to go out and take a short walk because it was a beautiful day. But then I did an out-school tutoring, and now I am preparing my slides and my lesson for tomorrow's out-school. Let's show you. Okay, so my out-school class that I'm teaching is, I call it Camp Adulting. Yes, it's very silly. It's a very silly name, but I was marketing it as a summer camp, so I had to use the word camp. But it is a life skills adulting course, 16 different topics over 8 weeks. And so we're on class number 4. And so we're talking about credit cards, college loans, and debt. So here is how to calculate credit card interest. It is June. Why do I always never know the date? It is June 17th. It's June 17th, Thursday, and I am ready for the freaking weekend. So I'm gonna make some coffee. Nope, won't set you down there. Oh my goodness gracious. So I'll set you down. So I wish things were a little more exciting in my life, but it's pretty much the same every day. because I work from home, and I have worked from home since March of 2020. We actually came home, or we actually started working from home right before the national lockdown happened. So we were one step ahead of the curve, and we were testing out working from home, but then it just turned into permanent. Like, I went home that Friday to do my test day to make sure all the computer programs worked from remotely, and then my boss texted me over the weekend just saying, just don't come back to work because we'll be working remotely. And so I have been for over a year now, and I actually like it. And the fact, there's many reasons why I like it. One, I work in online learning, so that's a remote learning platform anyway, remote field anyway. And secondly, I was spending about 2.5 hours a day in a car commuting, which was no fun. So about an hour in the morning, maybe an hour and a half in the evening. And secondly, I work in a job where, like, I'm a government contractor, and so you're on the clock always, and so there's not really a lot of time or encouragement to go, like, chat with other people. Like, you're all just focused on your job, like, which isn't a bad thing. Like, it's fine. It actually helps keep you really productive and focused, but so it's not as if I really miss a lot of, like, the personal relationships at work, because they were all really professional relationships. But I like working from home. Some downsides are that the cats try to get into everything, and they jump on the desk where I have my computer and try to get in the way, and they show up on Zoom meetings, which is fine. Like, my colleagues are fine with it, and I just try to put them down. So I have coffee. I'm gonna add some creamer. Now, a funny thing about creamer, so this is Friendly Farms French vanilla creamer from Aldi. I love Aldi. But every time, I don't typically use the dry creamer, but a funny story. So every time I use the dehydrated creamer, I laugh because so back in March of last year, whenever we were doing the whole shutdown and no one knew what was going on, I had kind of known that something may be going on once other countries started shutting down and things like that. So in the weeks ahead, I started going out and, like, getting more food, like, stocked up on cat food, cat litter, things like that, because we were hearing a rumor that there was going to be this, like, 30-day shutdown. Like, we could shut down for a month. And with that, I didn't know what that was going to be. So I was like, oh my God, what if we just can't go anywhere for a month? So I literally went out and bought, like, over 200 pounds of cat litter. I bought, oh my gosh, probably like 2 huge bags of dry cat food, probably like 5 of the 32 can wet cat foods. I went and bought a lot of pasta, macaroni and cheese, those soups where you just heat them up and put them in the can. I went and got, so I laughed with the creamer. So I went and bought like 3 or 4 canisters of like Folgers coffee. And then I went to Walmart and got the biggest canister of dry creamer that I could find. And I'm still going through it. This is not it. But it's huge. It's probably about like that big around and that big. Probably like as big as a Crisco can of dry creamer. And I literally thought back then that we were going to be locked in our houses for a whole month and nothing would be open and nothing would be going on and the world would just be dead. And I wanted to be sure that myself and my cats were taken care of. Maybe these will work. Oh. larger steak for my tomato, and I have a pepper. We had 2 peppers. We'll get 2 of each.